me and Robert and Mike are sitting by the pool, and Robert is pitching the Mega Man movie to me and Mike Scott, and Robert is not screwing around. Robert's like, look, here's how this works. Interior day, boop, 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 boop. Mike's like, no, he's right. It could work. The Mega Man movie could work.
Welcome to the
What's the deal?
Let me try that again. It's the Down with DP podcast with Robert Dunn and Ron Prendamano. In 3, 2.
What's up, everyone? How's it going today?
Hi.
Yeah, today is going to be a special episode. We have a guest. We have Travis Boles on.
Very excited about this one. Very excited.
Old friend of mine. He's going to be talking about a new project called 9 in the Evening, which is installment number 3 of a very popular series from old YouTube days called 3 in the Morning. Then he did 6 in the Afternoon, and now 9 in the Evening. And we talked to him for a bit and got to know his interests, his loves, our interests, all the cool things.
Very cool. A lot of compliments. Just awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
So without further ado, everybody, this is going to be kind of full-on guest episode. So without further ado, let's introduce Travis Boles. But we're here with Travis Boles, everybody. Good old friend of mine, and not to Ron. Ron just met him, so literally no emotional
I've seen him
attachment.
before, but I've never seen him before. Yeah.
Like Travis's house could burst into flames right now. Ron would feel nothing. I would feel something.
You're
I would
not
feel
wrong.
bad. I would feel
I
bad.
might feel a little sadness, but
It would
just
be
for
a
the
bit.
sake of humanity. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think I'd
But-
care. No offense, Travis.
Well,
Empathy
Travis,
is on the run in 2026, so I don't blame anybody for feeling
Thank you.
how
Yeah.
they're feeling. Keep going, Robert.
Yes, sorry, I'm like tossing around a rubber band ball. I don't want you to think like I don't know.
I'm not really interested in that.
ADD, man. I think because like so Travis and I have been friends for so long. I just feel comfortable. He doesn't really feel like a guest. He just feels like a guy I'm talking to. Hence why I'm throwing around a rubber band ball. But well, we can get into it, everybody. Welcome, Travis, and what we are going to be talking about today is something cool that Travis has been trying to do, or I don't want to say trying, but like marinating an idea about for years now. Travis is known for a series back in the day. We have 3 in the Morning, 6 in the Afternoon series, which was, correct me if I'm wrong. As I say series, my Siri just lit up. So even Siri's cheering it on.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Robot slaves. But what we have going on here is Travis has decided 20 years later to embark on a journey, if you will, to the third installment. Technically, I mean, do you call it the third installment? Because I know 6 was like part 1 and part 2, but
It would be the third installment. It would be part
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
it would be. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. But I don't know if I want to give the breakdown. Do you want to tell us? Because I was going to say what it was kind of about, but essentially through but I don't know. Do you want to say a bunch?
Well,
of,
I would frame it.
young
I mean,
people
to the youngsters out there. I mean, here for me, Robert. First off, thank you for having me on the show. It's great to be here. It's
Oh,
really
for
cool
sure.
to get to meet you, Ron.
Yes.
Well, you're paying
thank
us.
you guys for having me. I know this. Well, this was not cheap, so let me plug my shit and then get the hell out of here. So
yeah, please.
the
Shit. Wasting my time.
I don't think that this situation I'm in with this project is that what would you do if you had done a bunch of backyard movie making in your 20s and made probably a dozen shorts of various combinations and forms and complexities and scopes and scales, and then you made one that 20 years later still gets double-digit viewership on YouTube on the daily, and is well remembered by the the kids who, as it has been explained to me, effectively grew up watching it. I mean, we're talking about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old Star Wars fans in the mid to late 2000s, during birth of YouTube era. We're talking about pre-YouTube on the force.net, fan film boards.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about that, some people roll their eyes and dismiss it. As soon as you say fan film, the cineasts with their noses in the air go running for the hills. But what a lot of people don't understand is that the people who were in those spaces pre-YouTube went on to many of them went on to careers in Hollywood and as serious creative professionals. And so there was a kind of a lot of little lightning bolts striking pre-YouTube on the force.net and in other places like Atom Films and DVX User and other places on the internet where filmmakers and backyard, particularly what I shorthand backyard filmmakers, as the technology got cheaper during that time, we were finding one another and we were working on projects and having little film festivals and figuring things out. And so 3 PM is kind of my greatest hit. It's kind of my ring of fire. It's kind of my, whatever, my sweater song. It's my radio hit, and it will go on being my radio hit kind of whether I acknowledge it or not, whether anybody acknowledges it or not. And really, regardless of how I or anybody else feels about it, what I've come to understand just in in particular over the last few weeks is that for some people it's institutional internet, and my channel is basically where people come to watch this thing and to come back to it, and that's valuable to them for various reasons. And I've been in the YouTube game long enough in various combinations as a 25-year video production manager and producer to know that when you have a situation like that, you can let it sit and just let it rest and be what it is and keep going, or you can make it kind of part of your brand and my personal brand and part of my story as a creative professional. And as I kind of cruise into my mid 40s, I think I got really fired up about picking it back up. And so that's kind of the thing that's how I tell the story now to people who have no idea what I'm talking about and aren't invested. It's like, well, what would you do if you kind of had a radio hit on the internet and it's 20 years old and you kind of felt like picking it back up and writing another, verse,
I mean, especially in an era now where I feel like continuations of stories like things are getting just sequels. Like Freaky Friday got a sequel recently. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're the Freakier Friday, but you know what I mean? Like there's just these older stories now that people are welcoming with open arms for a sequel. There's other examples too. I'm trying to think of Devil Wears Prada 2. I mean Beetlejuice 2. So
my North Stars are the Twin Peaks return, which is now, resolved itself. Right. And what a huge buzz that was that it was coming back. And then the current buzz is the Mystery Science Theater 3000 place we're at, where they've picked it up and they're taking it back to basics and building that back up. And so things that have been dormant, MST kind of qualifies, but there's some of these things that are coming back.
Ocarina of Time remake coming out.
I heard about that. Star Fox 64.
Oh yeah. I've been playing Ocarina of Time, the OG, and it's so much fun. But yeah, I mean, I feel like now is like, sorry, Travis picks up all my little like nuances and stuff.
I do. We'll talk about
yeah, we can talk about that. But I really feel like now is like that perfect like time to make something like this. I'd be curious if 10 years ago, if you tried to do this, if it would have as big of a reaction. I feel like now people are like seeking that in a sense. And especially now to see, like, obviously with improvement on technology and everything, just to see, something to come back and to look so much more like fancy and polished now would be really cool in my opinion. So
Well, and that it kind of brings everything together and takes everything I've learned and brings it all together. But 10 years ago, I was having, starting a family, getting married and having my daughter, who's 11 now. So, I wouldn't want to do it 10 years ago, and I don't want to do it 10 years from now,
She's
and
11? Dude, I swear she was just like, I swear she was like 8 when I saw her 3 years ago.
yeah, it's crazy, right?
Or 9.
Something
I don't
like
remember.
that.
I was trying to make a
She's
joke.
aging like all of us.
Oh,
She's
Some
aging
more
at
than
the
others.
exact speed of time, which is good because it's either could be a Benjamin Button situation or a Jack situation. So
God.
I feel like I'm in the middle. Like I'm like a Benjamin Button meets Jack kind of guy. You know what I mean?
You're aging backwards
I'm
4
talking about
times
the Robin
faster.
Williams movie Jack. Robin Williams movie Jack.
Yeah, he aged 4 times faster than everyone else.
And Benjamin Button ages backwards.
So you're aging 4 times backwards.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you know the nanny was in Jack? The nanny, and he had like a
Fran
crush on her?
Drescher played
Fran Drescher, ex-president of SAG-AFTRA.
She was the mom.
She was the mom.
She was the mom.
Mr. Powell. Oh my God, Mr. Powell. Yeah.
Well, I guess because I do have questions for you. Don't worry, this is not right off the cuff here. What I was going to ask is like, what made you? I kind of gave an answer to this question, but you can still answer it since I'm asking you. What made you want to start production now? Like, what was it? Just kind of like when the fire hits you, it hits you, because I know that can happen where you're just all of a sudden you're just inspired out of nowhere.
Here's the thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and confirm what I'm sure my quiet critics are absolutely saying to each other, which is fine with me because I'm right there. I'm right there with them because if you are from the outside if I was from the outside looking in at this, I would think this guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and I definitely think that I'm doing everything backwards and trying and kind of running screaming out of the dark after really not uploading to my channel for a decade, and come running out. I feel like Bilbo running around waving a big long contract, and
I'm going on
an adventure. And everybody is sort of looking at him indifferently, like, well, then go, and
that's funny.
That's really where I feel about. Then go do it. If you want to go on an adventure so bad, then get going. Yeah. And did you lock up? We're going to steal your house.
Yeah, but you're 112. You only have 800 years left. Like, you got to make something of yourself.
Let's steal your flatware.
Yeah.
But, no, I quit my job last October after producing a TV show for PBS for 3 years and getting nominated for a Chicago Emmy for the one I produced for the Coast Guard. And I couldn't stay in Madison, Wisconsin anymore. And I had to move my family to get closer to my mother, who is getting older, and I've got family out here in Kansas City. So it was a really tough situation, had to make a move. So here I am. And in that kind of, and I think I'm probably talking to a couple of people, I certainly know Robert knows what I'm talking about, where, this script just came flying out of me in a fever. I just sat down and wrote a thing. Yeah. And I can tell you all about this thing I wrote and just chew your freaking ear off about this thing I wrote in October, November last year. But I wrote a 25-page thing and I was on fire for it. It's like, this is it. This is insane. This is sensational. It's the best thing I've ever written. This is what I want to do. Here we go. So I reconnected with a editor and co-producer, a friend of mine named Sapora Carr, who I worked with at Six Pack Shortcuts in Austin, Texas, when I was managing their production department down there, 2016, 17, 18, around there. And she and I got to work on producing this script and kickstarting this script. Well, it doesn't feature the original cast of 3 and 6. And I at pre-launch of the Kickstarter was like, okay, well, we'll do a part 1 with this cast and we'll start 9 in the evening. And it'll be a jam. And then who knows what legacy characters will make their way in. Well, the reaction, not just externally but internally, from the people who want to watch this movie and would potentially fund it, but also my wife and close friends who are going to be in and involved with the movie. We're kind of like, Trav, is this, if it's not going to have my so in 3 in the afternoon, for those who don't know, the setup is the three friends are sitting there playing video games, and then three real lightsabers show up at their door, and they have to deal with that over the course of a 10 or 12 minute short film. And then we made a sequel to it a couple years later where the stakes are very high and it's a very dynamic, tense thriller sort of situation. And so this thing I wrote in October is three high school girls accidentally list the Necronomicon on eBay.
Oh.
And I'm and still am just in love with it, but it is a departure on, it's got supernatural components way out in front where 3 and 6 does not, so they say here on the internet, you confuse, you lose. And there's a reason they say that. And really right from the jump, I managed to create a brand confusion that then at launch, I listened to all the feedback. I'm listening to, particularly Ryan Weaver, who, did my lightsaber effects. And I think most everybody
Shout
knows
out
him.
Ryan. We love Ryan.
And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Well, look, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. I would like to make a proper sequel to 9 in the Evening, but this is where it becomes very complicated, because you're talking about three people who are now in their 40s. Two of them have children. One of them has had prostate cancer. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock and swing a lightsaber. Jonathan Pruitt is recovering from prostate cancer and is cancer-free and healing beautifully. I just talked to him yesterday.
That's great.
He and I hadn't spoken in years, so I wasn't quite sure where he was at, but I've reconnected with him and it's been joyful. And so he's kind of halfway there, right? He's got to get back on his feet. And then the other guy, Corey Gray, our other actor, and the kind of the key part of that, he just doesn't really want to do it. He told me, maybe, but he's really not into it, really not invested in it, doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there you go. And I took that personally for a long time, but this process, and if I'm grateful I'm grateful for a lot of things that have come around since I started this Kickstarter, and I'm glad I shot it out of a cannon the way I shot it right out of a cannon, because sometimes you got to do that, and it's not how most people roll. But having shot this thing out of a cannon, not only did it continue to smash a 15-year creative block, but it also gave me closure on some of my relationships with some people who, I've got people in my life who love this thing and would shoot it tomorrow. And I've got people in my life who are like, nah, are you sure? Lightsabers, really?
Yeah.
And that's been a constant in my life for these 20 years. And so to have kind of busted through that and to be just sort of holding this up to the universe and going, what do you think, universe? And letting the universe react to it. I think it's something that's brave and interesting, and I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, is that back in like the prequel days, I feel like there were so many people making parody videos of Star Wars all the time. And I don't know if I would call yours as a parody. It's almost like its own contained thing. It's not Star Wars, right? Or
it's meant to, I appreciate you bringing this up.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be direct satire.
Right.
It's not meant to be parody. If anything, it's an episode of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon starring you and your friends, and instead of nunchucks, they all have lightsabers, and we all are kind of thrust into a Saturday morning situation that takes itself a little too seriously. And there wasn't really anything else on the forefront doing that. What I think the difference, Robert, is, and something that I've been thinking about a lot for all of us as filmmakers, is like, are you doing something that is an impression of something that you've seen, or are you doing something that is something singular that is unique to you and the people who you're with and the situation you're in and where you got to shoot, and therefore find something unique out of it? I think you could point at the Backrooms maybe as the most immediate example. Yeah. When I look at Obsession and the Backrooms next to one another, Obsession is a 30-year-old episode of Tales from the Crypt, which is fine. You can make a 30-year-old episode of Tales from the Crypt. Go do that.
I will.
And I'll be in it, and I'll help you produce it. Fine then. And
fine. Then, I'm going to do it right now.
Stop fighting. But you can also like take some bit of our culture and kind of break it in half. And I think I haven't seen Backrooms yet, but I'm definitely a big fan of the YouTube series.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, and I know Most people do, and I'm thrilled for it, and I'm thrilled that that's the moment that we're in, because people who are brave enough to do something unique and singular unto themselves and to the moment that they're in used to have to go to Los Angeles to ask the threshold guardians and gatekeepers if it was the right time for that to be shown to the world, and that time in our culture is over.
Yeah.
And now you can show your work directly to the world, and you and the world can shake hands before Hollywood or the money or some other person or A24 or whomever ever gets involved. That's what Markiplier just got done doing in Austin, Texas, is hiring a bunch of people I used to work with, because he's got the cash to just go whole cloth make a movie.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of what I say when, because, you know, there's people that are like, scared of AI and stuff, and like what movies are going to become. I always say that indie is the cure to all that. I do think indie is the cure.
We talked about that on a previous episode. Yeah. Indie is definitely the cure.
And something funny that someone wrote, I forgot, I must have read it in a comment or something. Someone said, like, you know, Hollywood is seeing these YouTubers make these movies that are doing amazing at the box office right now. And, you know, Hollywood's response to that is going to be like, let's make a Mr. Beast movie. Like, no, you're missing the point. Like, it's not because it's YouTubers. It's that there's not as much gatekeeping. So you have these people with these vast, vibrant ideas that now have the funds to make it. And like, there's other talent out there besides what studio executives choose. So, it is crazy that like something, I mean, one of the things I think about is like remember someone made a trailer of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that became a show, and Bel-Air became an actual show, and it went on for seasons. I don't know if it's still on. I think it might be, but so yeah, I mean, it's kind of unpredictable now, like where success can come from. So
it's a special time.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this too long to sit and watch the game go by. And, you know, again, this is a what would you do for the two of you or your audience, or, you know, me and everybody else is, if you had 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, if you had double-digit passive viewership, no matter what you did, if you had these relationships that brought that work into existence, for me, isn't the story that you're about to tell about the passage of time and how we grow up and how we change and how our relationships fray and change and break and whatever. And don't I need 3 new characters for kind of my character to look at and go, look, if you're going to pick that weapon up, if you're going to play the game. It's kind of why I love Better Call Saul so much, and why I think about it when I talk about this, because Better Call Saul hit a point about 2/3 of the way through it where there was a line of dialogue where he's like, you're either in the game or you're out of the game, right? And you can be a normal person and live your life and not be in the TV show, or you're going to get in the game. And getting in the game means risk, and getting in the game means risking failure in public. It means staying up all night long, editing when you don't want to, it means investing in it to a degree. Like, I launched a podcast a couple weeks ago about my dad's news career.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that and was really impressed. I had no idea. Actually.
I appreciate you. It's been a joy. I've been working on it for 2 years. All those interviews I recorded 2 years ago. So I have all this incredible ammunition, including a lost Orson Welles industrial he did for Frito-Lay in 1983, 2 years before he died. I've got the guy who produced it, who was my dad's brother-in-law from his first marriage, and he tells this whole story about getting Orson Welles on the phone and offering him $15,000, and then he turns it down, and then he accepts it because he needs the money, and it's just so great. So I'm so excited about these episodes of Newsman. But the reason I brought it up is it's taught me so much about launching something in 2026 and how different I can get something out and get something in front of people very quickly. And damn, there was another reason I brought that up though. What was I just saying before that? Damn, you get to cut this part, Ron.
Oh no, Ron does no post whatsoever.
I'm not allowed.
Who cuts
No.
this, by the way?
I do.
Robert does. Yeah, I'm not
Robert.
allowed. He's very.
You're going to get to rescue me here because I was working on a point and then I lost it.
Ron is literally the talent in this,
and he just drops.
No, actually, Ron is like so strong where I'm not, and that's in scheduling. That's in like coming up with things on the fly of what to talk about. Making sure we're on point, like making sure that we're recording every week. Like that's where Ron shines, and that's where I don't shine. So that's the yin to the yang there.
Obviously.
Okay, well, I was trying to sugar him up, but
no,
it's all
thanks,
good.
baby. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, but like all sugar, it rottens your teeth. So, anyway, Travis,
I'm trying to behave on this episode right now, Robert, and you're really pushing. Really pushing me.
I'll mail you some of my medications. You're gonna love it.
Travis, I do like what you were saying, just like kind of how the evolvement of the whole process and everything, just how you started off from, you know, what you were doing 20 years ago and the relationships that are frayed and stuff over the time. I mean, it's I think it's great that you're picking it back up and you're doing this again. I think it's awesome that you have the balls to go out and do it again.
Yeah,
and like you said, you wrote it like, you know, in the middle of the night, like you just it came to you, pen to paper, done. And I think that's a lot of us strive for that, to have that, you know, reignition of something. And I think that's great that you're doing that.
And my first reaction to seeing Travis do it was literally, it's about time. Like that was literally my reaction. I was like, oh, finally. Like when I saw like the first like video you made, I was like, okay, about time. Like, but I guess I would ask, since it's been so long, how do you think you've grown as a director? Like, you know, like, do you, like, what grasp do you think you have? What do you think you have a better grasp on now on a film set than you did back then?
This is the most fun I have had or will have all week. Thank you for the question, Robert Dunn.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To your audience, I say, be patient, gentle viewer. What do I shot 3 episodes of this TV show, Into the Outdoors, last year, and it was I wrote, produced, directed, and cast them. And it was because I had already produced some dozen or half dozen episodes of the show that using other people's concepts, other people's ideas, and getting that. And then we had eventually hit a point where they were like, "Well, do whatever you want." And the inmate was well given keys to the asylum. And you know, I had $6,500. And in the first one, I managed to talk the Shed Aquarium into letting us in for 4 hours at 5 a.m. in the morning on a Tuesday, so I could shoot 5 pages of dialogue and an interview in 4 hours with 2 crews and 2 co-producers and, you know, as my lieutenants and all this. So
why do I imagine there's someone outside the aquarium at 4:30 a.m. and then you get it shut down? It's like, I wanted to see the puffer fish. I got up at 3 a.m.
Dude,
I love this thing.
I'm walking through the Shed Aquarium at 5:30 in the morning, and we're all walking through this set, and it's quiet like a church, and you just hear about 5 feet from you the water move, and like 5 little beluga whales with their happy little faces came out and said good morning to us.
Wow.
And
good morning.
when there's
Who the fuck are you?
yeah, food. And
yeah,
but being in, you know, it's like being in an amusement park when it's closed. You know, it's just this liminal, spooky, you know, thing. So anyway, what do I think I've done better? I've had a lot of insane experiences, and doing those 3 shows with 3 cast members that I handpicked and then cast for chemistry. I'd never had the opportunity to really do that, where I read 12 young people and then picked 3 of them and narrowed it down to 3 that had a chemistry read together, and like it was clicking and working. And then to do that over 3 shows, when you look at the first show and then you look at the first scene of the 3rd show where my character comes in and basically blows up their whole weekend by sending them to all these places and sending them on this adventure. And it's not like it's not like a normal episode of that show where you're going, have you ever thought about wood? Have you ever thought about wood products? And all the things we make out of wood? Well, let's talk about that for 25 minutes because you can't leave this room. You know, doesn't that sound like fun? Like if I have a captive audience, I can make a show that's for a captive audience. But if I'm making a show that's not for a captive audience, and I'm making a show that I'm trying to have big curb appeal, and I'm trying to make something dynamic and interesting and funny and thoughtful, then that was my exercise to do that. And then I wish I could have kept doing it, but I couldn't keep doing it, and I had to move, and I had to quit that job, and I had to move on to something else. And so if I'm going to operate on my own behalf and under my own steam, then, you know, I think now I remember why I brought the podcast up. What do I think I have done differently and will do and can do better?
Yeah,
When I
maybe
started
something
the-
you were like maybe too naive about when you filmed, 3 a.m, as
Well-
opposed to like when you start filming this.
I was looking at a Silent Hill fan film I shot in February 2004 last night at 2 a.m. that really no one has ever seen, that I'm about to put on YouTube. That's really kind of badass.
I'm sorry, did you say 2004?
I shot a Silent Hill fan film in February 2004, and there are patient demons. She beats them up with a pipe. I had watched the tapes. They're right here. Here's 1. Here's 3. These are all mini DV. I'm going through all these old mini DV.
Oh my god,
That
Take
brings
love
me
it.
back.
I love it.
to pull.
That's what
the
I used
short-
to film with. Yeah.
I never finished it, and it looks like $1 million, and it's dynamic and interesting, and it's fucking cool. Well, I never finished it. Well, 3 is, by comparison, shot just a few months later, shot maybe 6 months later, and we finished that sucker, and millions of people have seen that sucker. And so I have all these kind of lost films that are me doing different things and impressions of different things that I've seen that I wanted to do an impression of, which is why I like and honor fan filmmaking. Because it's a great way to learn and create your chops to figure out who you are as a creative professional and what your actual voice is. And that it is poo-pooed or was poo-pooed for me, I carry kind of a little bit of a chip over and on the behalf of other people. And I think it comes out in the work a little bit. And I think that's kind of what 3 and 6 are kind of a reaction to, is no, it's not a fan film, but it does have Star Wars in it. And it is, it has a little bit of a chip about Star Wars and a little in what I think is kind of a sophisticated degree, which is what I'd keep exploring.
Kind of like an ode to Star Wars kind of
9 in the evening. Well, and the culture around
Yeah.
it, right? And what it feels like to be a fan and how it feels like to carry, in my opinion, a long-term disappointment over many things in regards to Star Wars that have a lot to do with corporate gatekeeping and threshold guardianship over, and people who don't understand the brand, don't understand the fan base, and made terrible decision makings that really hit a peak, I think, in a crescendo during at the episode 9 is really the denouement of horrible decision making on behalf of something that means a lot to a lot of people. Maybe
Well
too
put.
much to too many people in some degrees, you know. And that's kind of what the movie is in a little bit of a shade about, is something that just got too hot, too fast, too big. We're living it with AI right now, just too hot, too fast. We're not ready. So to try and make something prescient is part of the goal of the whole thing. And I think that's what I would do. That's how I would try to make, Robert, a movie like a capital M movie. Where you don't have to go watch my fan films from 20 years ago that aren't really fan films, and they're and like I don't have to go and
You
walk
don't need
you through
like
some crap.
the Boles cinematic universe.
You can explore that at your leisure. But if you were at the XYZ Film Festival in 2027, 28 or whatever, and I had you for 75 minutes or I had you for 85 minutes, clearly this guy and all of his people had pulled together something singular that's totally bananas balls crazy, and is like a sci-fi alternate timeline, alternate future situation where laser swords were released to the public like for $34.99, and we're dealing with that and everything that means. So
now, is there anything that you would want to tease about the story, or are you kind of keeping it under lock and key?
Under lock and key. That's what I was gonna say. Under lock.
The thing I keep pitching to people is just like, we're gonna make a 60. So I grew up watching. My dad was a news director and a career journalist, and so I grew up watching the 10 o'clock and the 6 and the 9 and the network, and then also 60 Minutes, and so anyway, it would be a joy to make a 60 minutes episode. I'll call it 90 minutes, and to really match when you talk about an impression of something you've seen, to try to really get the tone and temperature of a 60 minutes episode right, particularly how they end the end of every sentence with, in like an investigative kind of a thing, where they end every sentence with the tone that says, but we're pretty sure that that is bullshit. And then we get on to the next thing. And so to have something where they're investigating and running down whomever was responsible, the shadowy organization that was responsible for the events of 3 and 6. And so we produced this 60 minutes episode. It has this shocking interview with the creator of the power source inside these lightsabers. And that's like this holy shit, situation. And I would base him on like a George Washington Carver, and then also Lonnie Johnson, the inventor of the Super Soaker, who are fascinating Black inventors and incredible characters, and to kind of create a composite character of those guys in particular, and particularly Lonnie Johnson, who is a fascinating guy. And if you go to his YouTube channel and explore his career, he has since solved the energy crisis with water. And so he's a really interesting dude. And I've got the children's book that's based on, about him and stuff. So, there's a lot of fun to have with, like the Turbo Encabulator is a big inspiration. I'm fascinated by the Turbo Encabulator. It's a running joke in the physics and engineering community going back a long way. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And so, memes and Jack Kirby bullshit science and news and information. So like Magnolia, or like an Altman movie, you've got a pretty big cast, bigger, than just 3 people.
Shot on an iPhone, right?
Shot on an iPhone, shot on a Canon XL2, and or a DVX 100. I will shoot this movie in 4:3. Don't tempt me. I will shoot it like Zack Snyder shot Justice League, whatever, and make a 4:3 movie.
I love how he sees right through you, Robert. I love how he sees right through you.
I don't like. Are you shooting at 4:3? Or are we doing? I think we should go IMAX. Honestly,
Hey,
I got it right here. Listen, I got a wide angle lens on this guy, and I am not afraid to use it.
Is that a HDX?
It's a DVX 100.
DVX.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
All right,
it's a beautiful thing. But
we're gonna talk. We're gonna rent out a Blackmagic. It's gonna be great.
My co-producer has a Blackmagic Pocket, and so we'll shoot the movie in 4K. But
cool.
I want to shoot the 60 minutes piece. I'm gonna try and rent something.
Especially
for
that's
the interviews.
perfect. I love that.
We'll try and create like something produced in 2026, but also that it would reference back to a 90 minutes piece produced in 2008.
Absolutely.
About the injuries that happened when these things came out, and then and all the terrible things that happened when these things came out and why they went away. And then so then you create this 60 minutes 90 minutes piece. All the characters are watching it and reacting to it, and that's like the first 2/3 of the movie. Because once you've unspooled, they're all watching it kind of in real time, and if you could watch it independently of the movie on the Blu-ray, right, and just pick up on the stuff that's covered up by the dialogue, because I think it would be fun to try to make a movie where that 60 minutes piece is unspooling in real time, and we're cutting to the characters who are in a bar or a restaurant or at home or on their phone or wherever they're at, and everybody's going like, oh, holy shit, like on top of each other, and then it's over. And whatever the third act, the budget's going to dictate the third act, the casting's going to dictate the third act, the locations are going to dictate the third act, and really how the writing of the first 2/3 of the movie kind of concludes is going to dictate the scope and scale of how much of a rock and roll action set piece I get to have. 3 and 6 both have big action moments that even 20 years later, especially 6, you're watching, you're like, no, that's not bad. It's pretty good lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And fun to watch, right? Flashy and colorful. And
well, I mean, our buddy Ryan Weber, shout out again. He is the king of lightsaber effects. I don't care who's doing them now. Ryan is better. And
or not doing them. You don't even.
Or not doing. Am I right, everyone? Yeah, Ryan is just Well, Ryan was he was like the king of lightning VFX for a while. Ryan got because he worked on the show Heroes, where they really started using like lightning out of the hands, and
Yeah.
he was like the lightning guy. Like the guy's just good with this kind of shit, and
The time stop stuff.
all the time stuff. Yeah, I
Because
mean
he's
the
a
guy.
compositor is his big. You know, you would hire Ryan as a compositor probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you would have.
But anyway, super talented guy. But I guess I would go into because we were talking about looks and everything. Are there any films that kind of that might inspire a new creative style on how you would take this on? Because
Robert,
obviously,
you're good at this.
yeah, like because there's new movies that come out and you're like, wow, that's an interesting style. Maybe I'll take a little bit of that. Ooh, I like that movie too. I'll take a little bit of that. And I don't know if there's anything that's like influenced what you think the look will be.
Oh, that's such a good question. You're good at this, Robert.
I
So-
come in like with that unprepared attitude, like I don't know, we'll talk about
Right.
something,
So
but
what's
it's
your
all
influence?
it's all a fucking ruse,
he's
dude.
good
It's
at
all
this.
fake.
He's really good at this.
It's all fucking fake. Okay,
I'm telling you,
prepared.
I want to say something completely separate now. I have known since I met Robert that he will one day be super famous or super successful. There's something going to happen to Robert, and
I'll take the
in
second one.
In some degree, he's already had like 3 or 4 or 5 of those. You know, being young Joe Mantegna. I think
Yeah.
if I was young Joe Mantegna, I'd be like, well, I appreciate you. Goodbye, pop culture. I want to thank
Goodbye.
pop culture. I want
Yeah,
to thank my agent.
yeah.
And
It's time to
all
make
the
new
beautiful
friends.
people.
Fuck everyone I ever met. Time
Fuck
to make
all
new
y'all.
Oh,
friends.
thanks, buddy.
I'll see you at the.
Yeah,
Hi, this is the Down with DP podcast with
Yeah.
just me because Rob doesn't care anymore.
yeah.
And
We're gonna call this the
Rob got
Done
famous
with DP
again,
podcast.
and I'm here just doing the podcast by myself.
And
It's
I'll
the
see
Down
you at
with
Wizard
D
World.
now.
I'll see you at Wizard World
Just-
booth C12.
Yep.
For my-
Yep.
I'll
Yep,
be
recording from my
signing
bedroom like I am with my Brooklyn Nets sweater behind me because I
$25 an autograph, 35 selfie
We're
combo.
to talk about the 10 greatest things that America still has left. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and Robert is one of them.
Robert is one of them. Number 2, we have Robert Dunn. My
Dude,
former
my
partner,
favorite-
my
my
former partner and
favorite-
friend.
My favorite character to get into, something that this is like how I handle, like if you've ever run into assholes, people that annoy you, they start to become characters in my head and that I act out on. So if and I love playing the pretentious film bro. I love playing the guy who thinks he's hot shit. Because I've met so many of them.
You've done this
and
with me before. I've seen you do
many
this
times,
character.
but people that don't know me, they're like, oh wow, he really is like full of himself. But I just love it. It's the way I handle it, because it's either I meet someone that annoys me and I just let them anger me like over and over,
No.
or I turn it into a comedy sketch, in my own head.
I want to set the stage. It's Florida. It's somewhere in Florida in 2000 when, Robert? 2007?
Yeah,
7?
Yeah, 6.
I'm sitting at this insane man's pool. Some insane man has they're fundamentalist. They get annoyed with fundamentalist Christians for not being fundamentalist enough. I can't remember their originalist Orthodox something or other. It's not LDS, and some Florida hardcore something. And the parents own a regional healthcare organization. So they're just super loaded, and they've got 2 or 3 sons, and 2 of them are knuckleheads, and one of them is not fucking around. And he has bought the land speeder that was in the Coca-Cola advertisements that were released regionally during the trilogy re-release. So he was on the local news for having acquired the only officially licensed land speeder sent to Florida to put in his movie that he is going to show to George Lucas as the new Star Wars TV show, come hell or high water. He is focused, he is driven, he has resources, he has hired Robert Dunn as a Jedi Knight, and he has hired Ryan versus Dorkman 1 and 2's Michael Scott to be his DP, his editor,
His
and
everything.
his basically production point man Full stop.
Yeah, AD. He was everybody.
Mike Scott calls me and says, hey, you want to make a little money in Florida? He'll fly you out. I said, sure. So I'm sitting by the pool in this behind this crazy man's house with Mike Scott. And we're talking Mike Scott, who is a confident, dynamic, then hot off of Ryan versus Dorkman 2, and also like whip smart and knows that everyone around him is fucking this up, except for this guy and him, except for just a couple people. Mike, as far as Mike is concerned, all these people can go to hell. And me and Robert and Mike are sitting by the pool, and Robert is pitching the Mega Man movie to me and Mike Scott, and Robert is not screwing around. I was like, look, here's how this works. Dr. Light, scene 1, act 1, interior day, Dr. Light's lab. You go boop, 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 boop.
Oh man, you're
cut, man. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm like, I'm down, Robert. This. I'm down. And Mike is looking at you, and Robert, Mike loves you. Mike doesn't. Mike's not looking at you like you're a knucklehead like all these other people. Like Mike's like, no, he's right. It could work. The Mega Man movie could work.
And I'm like 20. I'm like 22 or something. I don't know how old I am. No, I'm like 19.
Yeah, we were like 22. You were like 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it could work. Dr. Wily is then, he's works, but then he gets kicked out, and then he creates the Robot Masters, and it's like, nope, I get it.
Yeah.
Act 2 is at the dam. Sure.
I remember being very passionate about this. Like I was just a naive, like this was my first like acting gig ever. I don't know. I was very new to the scene.
But you asked me about influences. I'll bring it back around. You asked me about influences, like Turtles, Mega Man, Ghostbusters is a big deal. I think about things in threes all the time, and then the threes that become 4, right? And how many times we see that in our movies and television. And I like that device. I think I kind of had the Joseph Campbell monomyth and the Dan Harmon kind of, this is what a story must be in order to
writer's journey kind of.
You're getting big whiffs of, if you were going to go be in the big room, this better be how you talk. And I became over time pretty disinterested in that and started to really hone in on like, well, I love listening to 3 characters talk to each other. Really any 3 characters, whether it's Kermit, Fozzie, and Miss Piggy, or it's Ray, Peter, and Egon, or it's, to get 3 that then are also 4. And that's how the Turtles kind of function, is like 2 becomes 3, becomes 4, pairs, triplicates, things in 4s that become crowded, but then also that's like kind of what's right about it, right? And kind of the rhythm of starting to stack characters on top of each other, and then how they sound, and then reducing that and kind of making things elastic. Like, if we've learned anything from the Marvel movies, it's how quickly they wanted to make this elastic, and how quickly they wanted to establish rules and then break them.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of into that a little bit. I think that's kind of cool. I'd like to pick up and play with that. So, but then also like Jacob's Ladder is really where kind of I would love to introduce a wild sort of psychological horror component to it that is.
Yeah. We've talked about that a lot. Like even recently with a film that I wrote that I wanted, because I love you, as a director and as a person, that I wanted him to take on. Actually, Ron has read it. This is not like a promotion for me, but with life getting in the way and a lot of moving around.
Your script, your short film? Yeah, I loved it.
So, cool. Travis originally was directing, and then life stuff, happens, and
life got in the way. No,
we're all in different states.
Not
we're all in
life,
different states,
anything
baby.
But that.
But
I love that serial.
I know, but the only reason why I bring it up is because it is that kind of like psychological, kind of story that kind of like, I think tickles our fancy, if you will.
Well, you wrote like a Night Gallery episode, and I mean that as a total compliment. Like you wrote like it's like a Rod Serling Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Bottle, it could easily be a Twilight Zone episode.
Thing.
Yeah.
So, You
But
need
it's
to go
also
do that.
Travis. It's also so much more than that. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. I'm just
It's so
really,
much more than that. It goes beyond what the definition of art really is, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Mm.
Anyway,
you're a rule breaker that way.
yeah. Anyway, no. Anyway, we liked it. We liked it. We love
Insert
it. We want
dead
some more of
air
it.
for a second.
Yeah. Insert. Don't you? Do you not have like a? Do you have a cricket sound?
I can.
Yeah, there you
There you
go.
go.
Oh, that's
Damn,
good.
he's
I liked
good.
it.
There you go.
That's good.
That was
I
me. That was
admire-
actually me for those listening. That was me.
That was okay. Well, they're
I mean,
all watching the video.
I have a crow if you want a crow or something.
Oh, I thought you were gonna play. What?
I
Okay.
can play, sure. Hey, there you go.
Cool.
It's amazing what
That's
you can get
great.
from Amazon.
You gotta keep doing that. That's so much fun. Hit that one again. That's fun. Hi, I'm Travis Boles. And this is Robert Dunn. And when we're out here hunting big Texas
Crows.
Sandhill cranes.
Sandhill
we're out here in Texas, Florida, hunting
Sandhill cranes and gators.
Listen,
Having a great time.
we're out here in
Hi.
the.
You're gonna do Macho Man? You're gonna do Macho Man? You're gonna bring Macho Man?
Yeah.
The Sandhill
Doesn't have
Cranes.
armor. Armor can come out and play.
Oh God. Oh no. And then Travis, he does a great. I wanted to say what's his name from
Oscar the Grouch. It's a great Oscar the Grouch.
Oh no!
Actually, I have no
What's his name from It's a Wonderful Life? I was trying to think of a super
Jimmy Stewart?
Jimmy Stewart. I was trying to think
Are you
of
trying
like
to hold up my Jimmy Stewart?
yeah,
Oh,
I don't know.
God.
I was trying to think of something super random and and Travis does a great Jimmy Stewart.
No.
I don't even know how you do that. I'm doing a new not 9 in the evening, like something like that. There's
Just
something there.
pretend like you're having a stroke, and then you can do Jimmy Stewart. Okay, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. He can't even he can't get his words out. Yeah, something like that.
That's actually not bad. Okay,
Yeah, not
pretty
bad.
decent, not pretty decent.
You
Hey,
asked me
that's-
about movies, though. That's the only Jimmy Stewart impression I can do is from Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Have you guys seen Man Who Shot Liberty Valance?
No, I have
No.
not actually.
I've
You
seen
guys should.
Mr. Man Goes to Washington.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Macho
you
Man
gotta
Goes
see-
to Washington.
gotta
Macho
watch-
Man Goes to Washington.
man, I want to talk to the president of the United States. Yeah.
Imagine if Macho Man actually. Imagine if he actually filibustered for like hours on end.
Oh, dude, there is a hilarious realization by Dan comedian.
Yeah, you know.
Dan
Yeah.
Soder, who says that if you were to read Marilyn who's the serial killer that had
Marilyn- Charlie Manson.
Charlie
That's what you're talking
Manson. Yeah. That if you read Charlie Manson quotes in a Macho Man voice, it just sounds like a wrestling promo. I don't know if you heard that.
Dude, that podcast. Well, here's Robert paraphrasing, and probably from where I was sitting, and now that the monoculture is dead, I don't know what everybody else has seen, and neither have you. But what you and I both do know is that Dan Soder and Will Sasso were on a podcast about 2 weeks ago, and
Yes.
all they did was do impressions. And this is the world we're living in. All they did was do impressions of wrestlers
Yep.
from their childhood. And it was so screaming damn funny. And they only and that guy who runs that podcast got them together because the one he did with just Dan Soder got 1 billion views. And the one he did with just Will Sasso doing Hulk Hogan impressions got 1 billion views.
Yep.
And I'm here to tell you, I will watch Will Sasso do his impression of Jesse Ventura on repeat
God. Yes.
well into the
Wow.
evening, because it is screaming funny and dead on, and like really, it's the only Theo Von clip I really feel like
Yeah.
watching is. Anyway, so what you're hitting on is
Yeah,
like,
why don't you tell me why? Why don't you tell me why?
down
If
in
you're
the Baja,
Yeah, I'm
all,
down
that,
in the-
all that stuff,
I'm
man.
down in the
It's
Baja. If you're
so
such a
funny.
if you're such a patriot, why don't you tell me why?
Oh my god! It's
Happy
so
4th,
funny.
everybody.
Yeah, happy
Um,
Fourth. Yeah, this is.
But because
Um,
the monoculture is kind of dead, like I love that you're bringing it up, and like I'm like I have seen that, and
Yeah,
that was totally
yeah.
in my shit, man. I watched the hell out of it.
Yeah, I kind of like got into Macho Man because I didn't grow up with wrestling. but I got into that because of Dan Soder. So any impression I do is kind of an impression of someone doing the impression. For some reason, that's how it clicks for me. Like if I listen to Tom Hanks, I can't do an impression, but if I hear someone doing an impression of Tom Hanks, it makes sense to me. Because there's like cadence to it. There's things that they're doing that you're like, oh yeah, he's like 99% there, and I can hear that 1% that's off, and that's what helps me.
Hey, Robert, what's the deal with the?
What's the deal?
What's the deal with the? Why are you doing butter commercials on the internet? Are you getting paid by?
Now we're talking about the elephant in the room here. Thank you so much.
Are you getting paid by the butter?
Talking about Kerrygold?
Yeah. Why are you doing ads for an expensive Scottish butter company?
Because they're paying me hundreds of thousands of dollars, Travis.
Are they?
Yes, that's why I built this one apartment studio. This is
Have
fake.
you ever thought about being a movie producer?
No. Absolutely not.
We have so many employees because of his butter ads. We have so many employees.
No, I haven't got a dime or free butter for that matter.
Is that your game? Is that the game you're playing? Are you trying to get something from them, or is it a wry joke?
It's a joke, but boy howdy, would I love to rep Kerrygold butter, and for real. So that came to be. So here's the backstory. Here's the backstory of Kerrygold butter. I was in Ireland, and we had some time to kill, and we happened to pass by a butter museum, and we went in, and I learned all about butter, and I learned about Kerrygold, and I was not familiar with butter brands. I just like, that's a stick
I thought
of
it was
butter.
all the same company.
I thought it was all the same.
I couldn't believe it's not.
I know. Hey, and then I heard Kerrygold was so good, and I started doing fake commercials for it in the style of like, because I always made fun of like those like Ford commercials where it's like the new Ford F-150, brother.
Right.
You can pull anything. Yeah, you could pull another Ford F-150, and that can pull that Ford F-150. Can make a train of Ford F-150s.
Anyway, and I did that, but for Kerrygold, where because I would go around my apartment, I'm like, Kerrygold.
I do have a question for you, Robert. Why was the butter so accessible just now?
Oh, well, Ron.
I mean, you had it ready to go. I
have a prop.
It's just a prop, okay?
Yeah, it's an empty box of butter because you never know.
I was concerned that you just had.
Are you a toast guy? I mean, this butter is deployed how? You're not over there eating spoonfuls of $6 a package, $8
if you want,
Travis, of course not.
I would support it 100%.
Of course I'm not piling the butter in my mouth.
Eating butter.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's a little bit of both. Not just piling the butter. For every spoonful of butter I eat, an angel has diarrhea. I take a bite of toast and I eat a spoonful of butter. I don't put it on separately.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Real Jim Crow of you. I like it. Wow.
Yeah, you gotta realize that you're the devil as much as you're God. Uh-huh.
That was a quote by Charles Manson.
You looked him up. Good. I'm happy.
I did. Yeah, the more I read about Charles Manson, the less I like about the guy, I have to say. That was totally a stolen bit from Norm Macdonald, where he says, "Hey, the more I read about Hitler, the less I like about the guy."
And now Robert's talking about Norm Macdonald. Here we go. I'm taking the wheel.
You're going to say Hitler. I was like,
I'm hijacking your podcast.
Please, Travis, guide us in the right direction, please. This is what happens when you give him too much leeway. This is what he does.
And Ron,
I crave the spotlight. Okay.
And Ron is a high school and middle school childhood friend of this person who
He wasn't like this growing up, I promise.
He was different.
He put the butter on his toast when he was growing
up. Something changed in him.
I don't know what happened.
Butter. Anyway, let me ask you a question.
Macho Man died in Tampa, Florida. That's what happened.
He was a margarine man when I knew him.
Actually, I couldn't believe it.
Am I able to share my screen? Is that a thing?
You might be able to. I don't know. Sometimes we can. Sometimes we can't.
Okay.
I can when I have OBS, but
All right. Well, fine. Then whatever. I'm just going to talk about it. You can pull a clip if you want to.
Cool.
What I'm taking a breath to say is that one of the things that has happened over the last 2 years is, as I have struggled to figure out how to point a camera at myself and what is my voice online. The internet is written in ink, not pencil, and anybody who puts themselves out there in online, there's for me, my money, there's a bravery there, and to that, and we're living in this creator culture, and I have always admired what Robert did. What Robert did is what a lot of people say they're going to do, and including I could rattle off on my hand right now 5 people I went to high school with who said they were going to do what Robert did. And Robert went out to LA, and Robert got headshots, and Robert did his thing. And I did that too. I got headshots and took acting lessons and did play the LA game. I was younger than Robert was by a mile. It was in my childhood, but I was the voice of Schroeder in It's Spring Training, Charlie Brown. And I know you guys already know that, but I just want to make sure that
we didn't want to bring it up.
I know. Well, I appreciate that.
No, we really didn't want to.
The signing starts at 6 o'clock, and I will sign action figures for $35. The point is,
literally any action figure. It doesn't
any Schroeder action figure where he is dressed as a catcher, I will sign it. But the point is,
you got a My Little Pony, I'll sign that. I don't give a fuck.
I was really hoping it was a Macho Man action figure, but it's okay.
I did not get the cast as Macho Man, but I'm not the body type. But Robert did something, and all the things that he's not only has he accomplished a lot while the entertainment industry was humming, and he was a part of this era that I think probably Robert would agree has in a lot of ways concluded, and now he's in a new. I bet you would agree that you're in a new era in all of this, and I think everybody out there is. My brother works in legal at Stars right now, and has for the last 3 or 4 years, and he tells a wild story of watching Hollywood trip over its own shoelaces, and I don't think I'm telling tales out of school there, but it's a fascinating thing going on out there. And you've been right up against it. And so my point is that I then watched you figure out how to get on your social media and do your Tonight Show riff and, all the things that you've tried and run and done clearly on your own steam in your apartment, just because you felt like doing it and you thought it was funny. I admire that so much. I struggle with that so much. And I really like, I've made videos 5 times and not shown them to anybody. And
that's why I didn't upload my room dramatic take, and Bob Odenkirk beat me to it. So I learned a lesson.
Wait, what? What did Bob?
We talked about this, Travis. Bob Odenkirk is coming out with The Room. I said I thought of it first.
Excuse me.
And I didn't upload it. Bob Odenkirk did, and now he's getting all the praise.
You're giving Bob Odenkirk a lot of credit. Someone that we don't know the name of went, I'm going to take the Room script. I would love to know if they paid Tommy Wiseau a little bit of money and said, hey, can I remake your movie? And he went, okay. And he smells weird, and he just says yes to anything. And so they did. And then they shot it, and Bob Odenkirk was bored and thought it was he said on a podcast recently, I saw some clip, he was talking about how he thought it would be a funny experiment to try to give that some gravitas and some performance and try to get that script to work as a piece of material. And I think that's fascinating and such a funny experiment that I don't think is going to work, and I can't wait to watch it.
No, I can't wait either. I would like to give some credit to Ron too, because it's funny how we both came out of the same high school, and aside from like maybe one of our buddies, we have a buddy, Brad. There's not many people that, because where I moved to LA, he moved to New York City, and he's a great stand-up. And so he's kind of like, it's weird how like there's only like 3 of us that really moved out of our town, all different states, by the way, and are doing the best we can in this crazy
actively into the industry.
This crazy place called the entertainment industry. And
I do stand up. You're in the LA filmmaking scene, and our friend Brad does improv in Jacksonville. And he's trained in Chicago and stuff like that. So there's only that I can think of off the top of our head, a few of us that actually got it and are still actively doing it. And I mean, what someone's definition of success is entirely amongst them. I mean,
Right.
You know, are we famous? No. Have Rob, you've had your moments to shine, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that I get paid to do stand up.
Yeah.
That's a win for me. So,
And
you know, and this hopefully one day this podcast will take off, and
right.
I won't
And
have to fly from Seattle and then do a podcast at 2 in the afternoon.
that's true.
Oh,
But
hey.
there is like I don't know if you can like sense it in people, because I sense it in Ron and Travis. I always have with Travis that like
Not always
motivating. Yeah, no, a lot of time, 9 out of 10 times Ron. No, that like there's that like motivating. I don't know what you would call it. I'm sure there's a name for it. But there are people that you meet in the entertainment world that are kind of like honing it in. They're not really like, I know actors that don't audition, they don't seek an agent, they don't do anything outside of just call themselves actors and hope that someone puts them in a short film. Like that's
Right.
really it.
Right.
And I'm sure that there are people that have jokes that are written that don't really do stand up, but maybe I don't know how that would work in the comic world, but I just want to give praise to people like, you know, like Ron, like even Brad and Travis, who have that like drive to go outside of their comfort zone. And I think that's what is happening now with like Night in the Evening, that even though
Yeah.
like I think you found the right time to do this, and I think that motivation has always been there, but it's like the stars kind of have to align. I don't think you've ever been out of orbit. I think you've always been in there, but you haven't aligned with the sun just right yet. And I think now is that time. So it's like I was trying to think of like a 90s cartoon reference that I could use here. When the gargoyles stop turning into statues. I don't know. You get what I'm saying.
I always say this to you, Rob, and I use that as a motivational thing myself. It's from the Muppet movie, The Magic Store, their finale. There's a line in there that has resonated with me my entire life, and it's one of the last lines of the finale. It's keep believing, keep pretending.
Yeah.
And that has always resonated with me. And
Well, and life is like a movie. Write your own ending, baby.
Yeah, write your own ending.
I
like
like
movie,
that.
Write your own ending. Keep believing. Keep pretending. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Then that is something that has kept me going for decades.
And one of the
decades. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I try not to. I try not to think about it, but yeah, it's a real thing. But in the to get this all started, I know that we have a Kickstarter going on, and how has that been? Like, have you? I don't know. Have you run Kickstarters before? Does it feel very time consuming and like exhausting?
Yes.
I've never done it myself.
Yes, it's awful.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And we're living in this world where the GUI, the graphic user interface, and the UI of all of these various platforms and these things that they've built for us to use to do this and to create our own commerce. The back end of Kickstarter, to create the kind of, when you go and look at campaign pages that are really a visual feast, that have lots of colorful visuals and their backer rewards, or it's a more visual experience, takes a lot of work, and you've really got to get into Photoshop, and you've got to get your graphic design chops up, and you're going to be creating assets and elements. And what I did was I came right out and I wrote a bunch of copy, and I put together an ask, and I built my rewards out, and I did a couple of visuals, and then launched it without really understanding that once you launch it, you are committed to the number, and then with every backer that backs a reward, once they back that reward, you cannot really change any of the details of that reward, and you would have to introduce a new reward in order to add, subtract, remove, otherwise change. And so because I was launching with this part 1 forbidden knowledge concept that then got scratched basically, or otherwise scrubbed day of launch. So, me and my co-producer, this is our first rodeo on Kickstarter, and I can see I can hear the voice of a lot of people I used to work with who have launched successful Kickstarters clucking their tongues at so naive an attempt at crowdfunding, but for my money, when you look at it, it's a sincere and detailed ask for a project that is materializing in real time and is based entirely on the name value and the brand value of the fact that people have been asking me for 15 years every time I show my ass on the internet, where is 9 in the evening? And so I remember why I brought up the podcast I launched, Robert. It's when I did that, when you log into that channel, when you launch a new channel on YouTube in 2026, you're immediately tipped into that part of the algorithm of these YouTube channels who basically are just going to explain to you how to launch a successful YouTube channel. And most of them are going to say the same thing, which is find the question that the audience wants answered and then answer it over and over and over and over again. How do I make money on YouTube? How do I clean a rug? How do I customize action figures? How do I tie a tie? So if the question my channel is asking is where is 9 in the evening, then this is my first attempt at answering it. And we had a message on Kickstarter just yesterday, the day before, where we're kind of stalled at $8,000. We're kind of stalled out, and we're going to have a big last week. Tomorrow is 7 days till the end. And
that's why I wanted to get this in as quickly as possible.
I appreciate you, man. And so, and I've got you've got just a podcast to get in. I got to make a half dozen videos like tonight. There's a lot I have to do. And I've talked to 6 cast members in brief interviews over the last 2 days. Everybody's got life. I got to pick up my kid. We got to pay our bills. We got stuff we got to do. Life happens whether we want it to or not. And so anybody who has a successful Kickstarter campaign has my, to salute Don Corleone. It takes a ton of work, and whether or not this particular campaign is successful, and we're going to push and make a good show, and I'm not afraid to pass or fail in public, which I think is what maybe makes me different from, I think, a lot of the people that I've worked with, who will work and sell their time, but maybe would not be able or otherwise struggle more than I have to shoot something out of a cannon and to just try and pass the hat and see what happens. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to try to figure it out in real time. For me, I think it's interesting. And I've long since demonstrated that I could make a movie right now in this room with the two of you, with everything in here, and we could get something together by 8 tonight, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not we can do something is not the question. The question is,
well, Ron and I are down.
Well, here we go. I have a script. Interior podcast day. To make something with a group of people in 2026 with everything as expensive as it is, and with the world in the shape that it's in, is a risk and a brave ask unto itself. And I would not be careless with that. A lot of the audience for this would very much like to see me and Corey and Pruitt together on camera, talking to each other and swinging lightsabers around. And the fact of the matter is, I'm down. Pruitt is recovering from serious illness and surgery, and Corey's really not interested in being a part of it for his own reasons. And
could Corey just be a phone call?
He's a maybe, and I've got an idea for one cool scene with him. And frankly, if you're going to do this, white, black, gray, if you're going to things in threes, someone who's entirely checked in, someone who's kind of somewhere in the middle, and someone who's entirely checked out or dead, whatever we end up doing with his character, there's this opportunity. 3 and 6 were never about good relationships. Lightsabers were going to tear this friendship apart. That was what was interesting to me. It's how 6 ends. He's like, I want my friends back. I don't want him to have them. So I'm not so brokenhearted, perhaps, that 3 men in their 40s aren't going to swing lightsabers together. I think it's more interesting to now explore it. It's like Dale Cooper getting out of the Black Lodge and not speaking for 9 hours. Like, I'm going to make you hurt for what you want, and you will thank me for it. And that's a cruel thing to say to an audience. But if you love the Twin Peaks return and you trust the creator and you want to see what he or she or they would do with resources, and to continue something that clearly means something communally, I would not let you down. We will have a sword fight. We will shoot. We will have a laser. But I also would do something that's sophisticated. If I had the chance to do it, I would do something that represents a sophisticated product and to the marketplace, that you or me, if the three of us were to produce a movie and we were to go swing the bat and try to get 824 or some insane person to pay for it, what considerations would we make in our narrative economy to make something with as much bang for the buck and punch, narratively speaking, within 75 to 90, 110 minutes? How would you do that? And that's the thing I'm living right now, and what the audience has an opportunity to watch me do, that I'm not going to hide from them.
Man, there's kind of like an agenda here where I didn't want to just talk about YouTube, because I can't stress enough how not only do I want this to happen because of the product itself, but because of you. Like you, there are great people that find success, and there are a lot of assholes that find success, and it'd be nice to have one of the good ones out there. And so I wanted to talk about Jimmy Stewart. I wanted to talk about all this other shit too, because I want to give people like a little window into Travis here. And unfortunately, I failed on doing that. But but if if people can just trust me that he is a good guy despite this interview, but yeah, that's why, and that's why I still talk to you all these years today from a very very strange shoot that we met on and still talk about today, and I think there's a reason for that. Trauma, no. But
I beg to differ from the stories you guys have told.
Yeah,
I beg to differ.
Yeah,
it was insane.
It was. There was Ron. There was literally a scene where Ron, we shot at this like abandoned nuclear facility, and or
in
somewhere.
Florida.
It's somewhere. It was like they dropped a bomb there or something. I don't remember. But it was like this dome we were shooting in. I think it was a dome. It was a building. It was a very small concrete building. And they wanted smoke effects, right? Like a lot of times, on TV shows and stuff, they'll just have a smoke machine because it makes the light look great. So, little tip for filmmakers out there. If you want to see the light shine, you put a smoke machine. Anyway, but they didn't have a smoke machine. So they just lit a barbecue inside this building. And so it was just a scene filling up with smoke.
That's not very safe.
No, I don't know. Travis, were you there yet? Or was this pre you?
No, I didn't do the power plant thing. The first thing that pops into my head when we talk about this is it's one thing to be at a convention and meet a Wookiee and and be like, oh, there's a Wookiee. It's another thing to be on a 10-hour day.
Yeah,
with a grown man dressed as a Wookiee in like a full Wookiee outfit that is coming apart in real time, and so two makeup people are continually coming back towards the Wookiee costume to just try to keep it together for another hour or two, so that we can get this shot. And like the guy in the Wookiee costume is like the nicest guy you've ever met in your life. But he doesn't look like him. He's a Wookiee right now, and he does the voice and he does the whole thing. It was a surreal, and it's so hot.
It's so hot. We were in an airplane hangar.
Oh my God! It was just that airplane hangar. Oh, and here's a story.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the send really quick. So we're in that airplane hangar. It's stunt day. He had brought in a stunt crew that was run by a guy named Popcorn. And this guy named Popcorn is
the most Florida thing I've ever heard of.
In Goodfellas, he's the guy that Robert De Niro gets a carton of cigarettes from him, and they have like a scene in a parking lot. It's in between the Lufthansa heist and like the whole beginning of the movie, and it's Popcorn is in it. And I went back and looked at it. Like, sure enough, there he is.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. This guy he was telling stories about being on the set with Marty and De Niro and the whole thing. And super nice guy. And he and his crew of a dozen dudes were hanging people from cables. And I'm running a camera around, and it was Hollywood there for 10-hour days, 3 10-hour days. Yeah. I sweat so hard my nipples bled.
Yeah.
It was so hot that I got like dizzy.
Yeah.
And it was like the most fun I've ever had and the hottest I've ever been. I lost like 10 pounds. I read From Hell by Alan Moore cover to cover. I watched Predator in that kid's in that crazy man's private movie theater in his parents' giant
Oh, that's
house.
right.
Watched Predator.
We lived in a mansion for like a month and a half. It was crazy.
I was there for 2 weeks.
Oh, you were there for
we
2
went-
weeks, yeah.
And then we went down to Clearwater, which is where Scientology basically owns everything.
Yeah.
Now it's like insane.
And
Yeah.
it was like being in the Joker's gang in like high society Gotham, right? It was like everyone is in their sweaters and they're looking at us like, you know,
Yeah.
we're all like, happy hour was happy hour.
Right.
We had to get back for happy hour and all this shit. It was
Yeah.
psychotic parts.
You know what? There's kind of a coincidence because what was his name? Kibwe?
Kibwe Dorsey was the rookie's
so Kibwe now, and I don't know if this is a coincidence, but Kibwe now is like he's a preacher. He's very, very religious. And I think because he was in that Wookiee costume in that heat, I think he saw God for a moment. And because I don't remember him being religious back then, and now he is. And I'm just saying, I think he saw God in that suit, and the rest is history.
You had people on that set, and this has happened to me a couple of times. Is like I did that again with a young lady named Elizabeth Shantz, who now is on the writing staff the production staff of K-pop Demon Hunters, and she's like an improv actress in LA and all this. And so I've worked with I've gotten weird phone calls. Hey, this person's got some money. That guy in particular, his parents lived on the Red Sea, and he was just going to make a movie in Austin because he just had all this money. And it was similar to the experience Robert and I had, where you get someone with a big notion and some resources, and they go running off. And so for me with this Night in the Evening thing, if I had the resources to make a movie in 2026, I would pull everything I could together. But the challenge is to make something economical and to not, the directing position. There's a reason why Orson Welles called it so overrated and all but waved his hand at the role of the director, is because he had a self-awareness where he didn't want to come off as an ego. He was an egotistical man, but he also, I admire how I love Orson Welles dearly. And for one of the reasons why I love him so much is how he presented. He was such a self-effacing dude for someone who had such an ego, and you're damn right for what he'd earned it.
Sure.
And so how do you own who you are, and how do you own what you've accomplished, and how do you not apologize for yourself, and how do you kind of get on Dick Cavett in your life? How does Ron kind of like live like you're about to be on Dick Cavett, or Robert about to live like you're about to be Dick Cavett? Why are we so like ashamed, like so nervous about ourselves? And it's because the internet is a wild place. It's written in ink, ink on pencil. You got to be careful with what you do and say, but also like our currency now is who we are and the stories that we can tell, because a computer can't write that. Somebody else can't pull that up out of the ground. It's unique unto ourselves. Exactly. And if we're in touch with the joy of the doing to make something creative, if Robert wants to make Kerrygold butter commercials alone in his apartment on a Tuesday, by God, he can do it.
Yeah.
They're beautifully done.
It's not depressing.
I like the little car thing. That was fun.
Well, yeah, thank you. Well, with that said, everyone, I cannot recommend Travis as a person enough, let alone his ideas. And I would highly, if you are listening to this, please go help out the Kickstarter right now. I'll put a link in the show notes, everybody. You can also check out Down with DP Podcast. Instagram will have a little thing in the link tree there.
Absolutely.
And without further adu, I mean, that's kind of, well, you don't say without further ado at the end. That's at the beginning, right? And with that said, some other term that you say at the end of things. Thank you.
Robert. Damn it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, Travis. Yes.
For
nice to meet you.
Being here.
You too, Ron. I want to hear your stand-up. I've enjoyed visiting with you very much, and I'm so glad Robert is doing a podcast and he has someone
I know
enjoys Robert.
It's
he should be doing a podcast, and I'm so glad it's with you, and thank you guys so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the interview with Travis. It was great having him on.
Interview.
What?
We did have it.
We did do the interview. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, there's some stuff I want to talk about, but I'm gonna have to wait till the next episode, Ron.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna have more guests coming up. We got some more things. We got World Cup to talk about. We got a new Fire Robin beer, and I think
Shit.
we're gonna make a segment for Rob. Rob needs a segment, so we're gonna come up with that. Maybe something new to the show.
All right, all the cool things. And until then, everybody, take care. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to today's episode of the Down with DP podcast. If you want to support what we're doing, please head to our Patreon, where you'll get bonus content, extra access, and other cool perks. We'd seriously appreciate the support. You'll find all the info on our Instagram at DWDP Podcast and on our Facebook under Down with DP Podcast. Got a question or topic you want us to dive into? There's a super easy anonymous form linked right into our Instagram bio. Send it in and you could be the next penetrating question. Or you can email us at downwithdppodcast@gmail.com.